Hey guys, just out here working in the garage. I picked up a new bike. This is a bike I've been looking for quite a while. I love the styling of this bike. It's a classic 90s bike, but I've seen this bike a long time ago and fell in love with it and had to have one. Been looking for a while and finally found this beautiful, I think it's gorgeous, 95, and it is a BMW R1100RS, and this thing is super clean, been very well taken care of, but hasn't been used a whole lot in the last few years. And in it not being used a lot, when I bought it and was riding it home, it was about a 3.5 hour ride home, I found out that the right fork seal started leaking. So we're going to change that fork seal, and I imagine there's going to be a couple other things here or there that we're going to have to replace on this. But it is a beautiful bike. It's got 61-ish thousand miles on it. Yeah, 61,782, which is nothing for these K bikes. They run forever, and like I said, it's in beautiful shape. Somebody's taken really good care of it. Super clean everywhere, super clean on it. So I went ahead and started taking things apart to do the fork seals. And to be honest with you, I haven't found a whole lot online about these bikes, so I thought I would do some videos on it. I don't know if it's just not much out there on them, or maybe not many people like them. I don't know, but I think they're gorgeous. I love it. And so what I did first was I just removed, there's two screws underneath here. There's two Allen screws. So I removed that cover there just to get access down here to the top of the forks. I had done some fork seals on a bike similar to this a very long time ago, and I have to remember how I did them. I believe you can leave the top part of the forks on the bike and actually just take off the bottom and pull the fork seal out, pop a new fork seal in, slide it all back together. The suspension felt great on this bike. Super smooth ride, but like I said, I just noticed that fork seal seeping, just started seeping, so I'm thinking it blew out on the way home, and hopefully it's not all over the brakes. It doesn't look like it, so hopefully we can clean those up okay and salvage those. But I want to check also to see if it needs brakes. So I'm going to do a complete go over on this bike, but I want to take care of those fork seals first before it leaks anymore. So let's get to it. I've already loosened the pinch bolts here, loosened the axle bolt here, and took loose the little fill cap here. I don't know if you can see it, for the top of the fork. So we're going to go ahead and pop this off. We're going to do both fork seals. I may just only record one though. They should both be the same. So let's get this wheel off, get these brakes out of the way, and then we'll have to get the fender off and out of the way so we can drop that whole lower part of the fork. Do you approve? Huh? All right. So got the wheel out of the way, and have the brakes just hanging for a second, just because I want to remove the fender first before strapping them up. Yeah, you want to say hi? Hi. Okay. So I'm going to strap those up and get them out of the way so they're not just dangling on the hoses. But I want to take the fender off. It has a bolt here and then another bolt around back the side. So it looks like 4 bolts that need to come out, and it should take this fender off. So we'll get that out of the way, and it looks like there's a screw in the top too, if I remember correctly. I've had a K bike before and removed a lot of the stuff, and a lot of it is the same. Mine was a K75 in 92. So like I said, this one's a 95. A few things are different, but pretty much the same in terms of how this comes apart. So we're going to go ahead and take this fender off, and I'm sure you can't see this just because it's kind of dark, but there's a cover that goes on here, which I already took off. It's right there. And underneath of here, there's a 10mm bolt that goes in this way So we're going to take that off. We're going to have to use a wrench to take that off because you can't fit a socket onto it. So we're going to take that off next. All right, so I got both fenders out of the way and got the brake calipers hung up there. And so now what I just did was I took my air gun. This is about the only time I use an air gun on a bike, is to put up here, and there's a bolt here. I just made sure I could get the bolt out. So that bolt is loose. I'd loosen it and then tighten it back up so all the fluid wouldn't drain out if there's any fluid left in it. So now I'm going to remove these two bolts up here. They're both Allen. They look like a 6, but I could be wrong. I'm going to remove those out of the way, and there shouldn't be anything left on this. After I take this bolt out, this whole arm should come down. So we're going to do that next. All right, guys, hope you can see okay. Got the fork leg released. Released all the oil into the container, and man, does it smell terrible. So we're going to go ahead and remove this the dust seal on here and clean this up and see if we can go ahead and get this released and get this taken completely off. And you can tell it's been leaking for a little while. Like I said, the guy I bought it from was a pretty honest guy. Maybe he knew this was leaking and didn't say anything, or maybe he was constantly cleaning this bike, so maybe he cleaned it off. I don't know. I'm not blaming him. So we're going to go ahead and get this off and get it all cleaned up. All right, guys. So now I've got the fork tube in my Franklin portable clamping workstation. I don't know if you guys have seen this before. I think I've shown it once before in a video. This thing's amazing. You should get one of these from Harbor Freight. Best thing I've ever bought. Used it a ton for everything. So like you see, you can put your fork tube here. We've got a little clip we need to pull out up here at the top, so we're going to work on that here in a second. And I'm also going to clean this out first so it can be, use some brake clean on it that will kind of self-evaporate, and so it'll be done by the time I'm ready to move on to the next step. So let's work on that now. All right, guys. I don't know if you guys have had this problem before, but I had a problem with trying to get all the gunk. I don't know, I'm sure you can't see down there, but there's always a lot of gunk that's down here at the bottom of the fork tube. So I was like wondering what I could use to get down in there and clean that out real good. And I tried one of these. That was too short. It's the longest one I have. So I thought for a second, I was like, well, I've got a gun cleaning kit for a rifle. Let me just put one of the swabs on there, and I can push it down in here and kind of go around and get all that cleaned out in there. You see how it comes out. It's all nasty, and it's much cleaner in there now. So now I think what I'm going to do is shove a paper towel down in it, use that same pin off of the gun cleaning kit, and then I can just shove the paper towel through the bottom, the hole. But I think that's a good way to get this clean, and it looks so much better than it did. So I'm going to move on, and we're going to remove the clip and the seal next. Alright guys, here's the clip that's out. This is super easy. I've read of a lot of people having a lot of issues getting this clip out, but I just used this little punch here with a little bit of an angle on it, this pick, and was able to hook underneath of it and popped it right out. It took me 2 seconds. So that's out, so we're going to clean that up, and then we'll get ready to pull the seal. Alright guys, got this seal out really easy, and I'm going to tell you what I did. I took a heat gun, heated this up really good, just kept going around it, getting it really hot, and then I took this pry bar, got under the edge of the seal like that, and then put this piece of plastic here, this plastic pry tool for I use this plastic pry tool that you use for interior, and popped it right out of there. Came right out. Super easy. So I don't know if it was the heat that helped or the pry bar or what, but it came right out. So good to go. Now we're going to put the new one in. Okay guys, so I got this lip all cleaned up, and you do have this washer that sits in here. So we get that put back in. So now we're going to get ready. We're going to get the seal. We're going to put a little fork oil on it, and then we're going to work it back into this place and press it back in. All right, so I got the seal pressed back in. I put a lot of fork oil around the end part of the side part of the seal. We're going to get ready to slide it back up under on the bike and get ready to start bolting things down so we can get this back together. Alright guys, I've got the fork tube just sitting back in here. One thing I forgot to mention that I did also was I took some steel wool to this fork tube. It just cleaned it up really good to make sure there's no burrs on it or anything that would catch that seal, and then carefully press the seal back up on there. You have to be careful a little bit on this lower bushing, just kind of make sure it stays in place as you're sliding it on or sliding it past the seal. Once you get that on, you're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and do this other one. I'm going to do it off camera because it looks like it's pretty much the same thing. The only difference is you got to remove the ABS sensor, but everything else should be the same. So I'm going to do this off camera, try to knock this out quick, get this thing back together. I'll pick you back up when we're putting the torquing the bolts and doing all that good stuff and adding the fluid. So we're going to jump for now. All right, guys, so got them both done. Got them back on the bike. I can't remember what they call it now, but the drains, the bolts at the bottom that hold it all together, those are torqued to 47 newton meters. So I've got those torqued. Now I'm going to torque these bolts up here, get that all in and locked in place, and then we'll get ready to put the rest of it back together. All right, guys, I know you probably can't see under here, but I tightened the 4 stabilizer bolts down to 22 newton meters. I did put the axle in it to get everything nice and straight. So torque these to, like I said, 22 newton meters. And now we're going to put the ABS sensor back in, get some zip tie that back up so nothing snags it, and start getting this thing all the way back together. All right, guys, so I got everything pretty much back together except putting the wheels and the brakes on. I'm going to do that probably off camera because I'm going to clean these brakes up really good. It does look like some fork oil got down on the left side, but I don't think it's very much. I'm going to probably pull these pads, check them out, clean them real good, see how bad they are before ordering new pads, because these pads look like they had plenty of life left on them. So I'm going to go ahead and put this stuff back on. It's pretty much the same thing as taking it off. It's just in reverse. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on, and we'll get ready to fill the forks with oil. Alright guys, so I went ahead and filled each fork up to, I used 400 cc. The book is kind of unclear. In one it says use 350 in one and 400 in the other, but then if you read on it says if you rebuilt the forks, 400 in both. I went 400 in both. I had it apart, so I figured that's what they mean. So I did 400 in both. Tighten these back down. After I put 400 in both, I left the caps off and I rocked the bike back and forth a little bit, get on the brake so the suspension would compress, get all the air out of it. And then I tightened the little fill caps up. So I think I'm pretty much done. I'm going to put this cover back on, and like I said, there's two little bolts down here. That's it, and I'll be done. So I'm going to clean up my mess, and we'll probably have more to come on this bike soon. I did clean the brakes up. They looked okay after I cleaned them up, and so I think they're going to be good to go. So I got to get tags for this bike before I can take it out and really ride it. I don't want to take a chance. I don't have insurance on it yet, so there'll be a lot more to come on this bike. And like I said, I'm tickled to death with this bike. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I'm so happy with it so far. So, all right, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. There'll be a lot more to come on it.